Welcome back to In the Zone. I'm your host, Max Vigue. With the NFL draft kicking off the playoffs, the NBA and the NHL getting started, 37 runs for the Reds in a 3-game stretch, and much more. There's a lot to talk about. In the Zone starts now. Join me on desk this week is Ashton and Zach Humphreys. In the matter of 2 days, future NFL stars will begin their hearing of the commissioner call to their name and walking across the NFL draft grand stage. This and Lambeau Field in Tennessee Titans hold the #1 pick, followed by the Cleveland Browns and the New York Giants. The biggest names surrounding the first round include Miami quarterback Cam Ward, the Colorado teammates George Sanders, and Travis Hunter, and the Penn State defensive edge Abdul Carter. With the constant commotion, Zach, who will be the Titans' take as their #1 pick?
You know, there's been a lot of rumors now, because it's the Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, it's the big. But I'm going with what my gut has said ever since the draft talks have been going on. Yeah. I got Cam Ward going #1. I feel like there's no way that they can trade out of it because Will Levis is, I feel like his experiment is just about wrapped up.
Yeah.
And then the way I see it is I see Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter going back to back. I don't think Shedeur is going to go #2. I think Shedeur is going to fall to the Saints at 9.
Yeah.
Which is a bit more than what people kind of expected. Some people expect him to go to like the 20s down by where Pittsburgh's at, but I don't see any of that. I don't see the Titans possibly trying to negotiate trade talks and maybe try and drop down a little bit lower to maybe secure a guy like Shedeur.
Yeah.
Both of them are very talented, but I just think you got to get Cam Ward, which is the best quarterback. In my opinion, that's on the board.
Interesting. Ashton, you have anything on that might be different?
I think the Titans might get Cam Ward as well. That's what I think. But I think I think Will Levis is better than him, I feel like. I don't know. I really know how well Cam Ward is. Mm-hmm. I never seen him play, but if I seen him play, then he might be better than Will Levis.
Oh yeah, I mean, as you know, there's a pretty big gap between college football and the NFL.
Yeah.
Of course, he can look like a stud. We saw it with Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
A guy like Cam Ward who's got all the praise and all the hype can earn himself the #1 draft pick. But if they go into the NFL and a guy like Max Crosby, guy like TJ Watt continue to give him too much pressure and he can't handle all that, well, then I guess it'll just be another one of those what-if projects.
Yeah. Do you think we'll see more like drafts like this in the future, or do you think this is just going to be something unique to the upcoming draft?
I think with a guy like Cam Ward, it could be definitely more. It could be a bit unique because Cam Ward, his skill, he doesn't really have much of like a skill gap per se. He's just a gunslinger, which could get him in trouble trying to feel like he can fit into tight windows or chuck a ball downfield when he can't really get it there. Maybe a guy's not open and he'll force it, stuff like that. But he's loose outside the pocket. He's great in the pocket. He can throw it short, medium, long. He's a great quarterback. I feel like this is one of those things where it's definitely like a unique draft class, but only time will tell. Give him like 2-3 years and we'll be able to figure that out.
Yeah, no, definitely. Looking through the draft order, a lot of NFL insiders expect the surprises to begin at the 5th pick, asking the question, who will the Jaguars select at 5? Of course, fans and spectators will be waiting for their surprises. Ashton, what team would you expect to make a surprise pick?
I think I gotta say the Eagles. But I did hear about some rumors that they might get the Penn State guy, the tight end Tyler Warren, because of Dallas Goedert's contract is up for this year of 2025. There's a saga with Goddard going away. But if we get Tyler Warren, I think that'd be the best pick so far.
Yeah,
or Ashton Jetty.
Yeah,
going to the Ravens, I don't know.
I mean, it'd definitely be interesting to see
so.
with the 5th pick and with how everything's going to turn out. Zach, you have any
Yeah,
predictions?
that's actually a great point because both of like the little highlights that I noticed looking at the draft class was around Tyler Warren. Sadly for us, he's not going to drop anywhere near where the Eagles and Ravens are because we were too good this past year. I think we got to watch Tyler Warren if he's still on the board once Dallas comes on the clock. Because although I see them getting the McMillan receiver from Ole Miss, I feel like it's definitely one of those things where they could go. Tyler Warren's a lot more of a talented tight end. He's a much more talented player than McMillan is in my eyes. So I think if they're going for talent alone and a guy that they know is going to go out there and produce week one, they're going to choose Tyler Warren every day unless they want to partner CD. But then you were talking about the 5th pick. I think the Jags could take Ashton Genty. They could try to steal him, get him a playmaker. Their new head coach, Liam Cohen. He's a big offensive-minded guy. So if you give him a weapon like Ashton Genty to partner up with Trevor Lawrence, he should be fine. Other than those big two, like the only other thing I had in mind was the Marshall defensive edge from Mike Green, called Mike Green from Marshall. Sorry, I said it backwards. But I think he could be the steal of the draft. That's my hot take that I got for this entire episode. I feel like whoever gets him in the draft, people are saying he's going to be a late first-round pick, but I feel like if somebody sneaks up there and takes his potential, he had 17 sacks last year, a conference high, 22 and a half, tackles for loss. I feel like he could be a real stud for a team in the NFL.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes. Looking into the ongoing playoffs from around the nation, where we will begin our focus on the NBA. Since our last episode, the Heat and the Grizzlies cemented themselves into the playoffs by knocking off the Hawks and the Mavericks. The majority of the first-round matchups are only one game into the series, with the underdogs prevailing like the Warriors and the Timberwolves, as well as the OKC Thunder's victory over the Grizzlies being the 5th largest margin in NBA history, winning by 51, and only the series between the Pistons and the Knicks and the Nuggets against the Clippers have played 2 games, and both series are tied. Zach, what stood out to you in the first round of matchups?
I think first, man, if y'all aren't watching this Clippers and Nuggets series, tune in before it's too late because both games, the first game was an overtime thriller. And then this past game, we watched Kawhi Leonard go out there and put up 39 points, and I believe he only missed 3 shots. It was incredible. Both teams are star-studded, and it's going back to LA where I think the Nuggets could struggle only if Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon don't get it going. They need to keep up that consistent scoring. They can't really struggle like Gordon struggled in Game 2. Murray kind of struggled and fell behind in Game 1. I feel like if one of them can keep up with Jokic, they should be able to move on to the next round. But I feel like that is just a beautiful series. As well as, oh, come on. The social media's been bashing LeBron and the LA Lakers because they lost one game. I'm here to knock that off, okay? That's baloney, you know? They lose one game. I get it. There were a lot of weak points with the LA Lakers defense. Their defense really wasn't as good as what it used to be. Because I saw this stat that I wanted to point out where the Timberwolves made 21 threes and they shot 42. 50%, that's not going to happen in Game 2. Let me just say that. But out of all of those, 27 of them were wide open and 15 of them were considered open. None were considered tightly defended or tightly contested, which is just goes to show that we're just offering layups from the three-point line. That's not going to fly in Game 2. JJ Redick's going to have them boys ready to play.
Any other thoughts on the upcoming playoffs?
Okay. I'm waiting for the Lakers. I'm waiting for the Lakers. I'm a Sixers fan, but they suck. But I'm a Lakers fan. Just saying, this is a terrible. But I say I'm waiting for the Lakers to make it. I was upset with the Mavs losing. I wanted the Mavs to make it to the playoffs, but that didn't happen. So I actually had to go stick with the Lakers and Golden State because I like the. And I did see that Kawhi Leonard put up those points, and it's healthy Kawhi Leonard. It's healthy Kawhi Leonard.
It is. Are you worried about OKC after they just beat the Grizzlies by 51? That's something that you just can't brush aside. 51 points.
I'm not really
Pretty
afraid of
notable.
OKC.
You're serious?
I'm not really afraid of OKC. I want OKC to make it to the finals. I would see probably OKC or maybe, I don't know, maybe the OKC and the Celtics. OKC crushed the Celtics. I hate the Celtics. I hate them.
I bet you and I both.
Yes.
You know.
We now send it over to Paige Davis for an update on Marauder Athletics. Paige?
Thanks, Max. Millersville's women's golf is on a hot streak, having just taken home their 6th win of the season. This set the record for the program, finishing 3rd in last season's competition against Kutztown. And this season, they have a scoring average of 338.2 points. They'll take on Kutztown for the 2nd year in a row this weekend in the PSAC Championship. Good luck to our Marauders. Women's tennis team took on the Bloomsburg Huskies in the rain last week and were down 4-0 before the matches were called due to the weather. The Millersville baseball team pitched a complete game shutout against Kutztown on Monday, with pitcher Connor Cook named the PSAC East Pitcher of the Week. This is his first honor since May of 2022, and he completed all 7 innings in just 94 pitches. He is now tied for 6th in Millersville history with his own pitching coach. The softball team took on Bloomsburg last week, coming up short in both games, but players Jocelyn Langer and Allison Black both had outstanding games. Langer getting 3 walks and Black hit a 2-run home game, giving the team an early 3-1 lead. They will take on Kutztown in a doubleheader this Friday. Now we're going to send it back to the desk to talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs. Max?
Thanks, Paige. The Stanley Cup playoffs just began this past Saturday, already with some exciting moments on the ice. Multiple overtime thrillers and almost a comeback as the Oilers came down to the 4 goals against the LA Kings until Philip Denault scored the dagger with less than a minute left in the regulation, despite the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightnings, who look to begin their playoff runs tonight in the Game 1. All the playoff matches are underway. Ashton, who do you expect to have a deep playoff run?
Yeah, I've been looking at my ESPN app, and I really think that the Hurricanes are going to do it. I think Hurricanes are going to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. I really do. I'm a Penguins fan. I know they're not that good, but I am still waiting for the Hurricanes. I think they're playing the Devils. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
But they're playing the Devils, and that's a hard team to face. But I really want the Hurricanes with Sebastian Aho defeating those guys. And you also got those other teams out there, like the Kings and the Florida as well. I don't know. I was thinking with the Hurricanes.
Yeah, no, I think the Hurricanes played a fantastic game against New Jersey. They dominated. They won 5-1. It's kind of like one of those things where if they keep up that sense of dominance, it's going to be an easy first round exit for New Jersey Devils. Thank goodness. And the Hurricanes can just move right on along.
Yeah.
You did mention the Kings, which I don't know if you were able to watch, but their game last night, dude. Last night's hockey, that was like peak NHL hockey. Yeah. We had 2 overtime thrillers. One was Washington, where Ovechkin, this young lad, Alex Ovechkin, scored his first overtime goal in his career. So, bright things for this kid. And then the Dallas Stars and the Avalanche went into an overtime thriller as well. Dallas Stars ended up tying that series, which they needed for going back into Colorado. They need that to kind of carry them through. And we were able to see like the Kings and the Oilers battle it out. As you said, the Oilers were able to battle back down 4 and be able to bring it up. And also, after all this talk about Connor McDavid and him not showing up, him not being there in the playoffs, him never representing his team, it's kind of like Katie and Brianna talking. It's all nonsense.
Wow.
You don't listen to any of that at the end of the day. Connor McDavid showed up. He was there for the team, and he was the one putting up the numbers. So,
turning our focus onto the nation's pastime, there have been some teams already out to a hot start. The San Diego Padres have already had an 11-game lead over to the Colorado Rockies, and the Detroit Tigers rotation leading to the division in the 3rd in the league in the ERA. But they have also had some glaring issues around the league. Some include the Pirates' struggles at the plate and the Baltimore Orioles' pitching issues, leading to them allow a 37 runs by the Cincinnati Reds in a 3-game stretch. In one game, losing 24-2. Zach, what can teams like the Pirates and Orioles do to change their luck?
In the wise words of one of my colleagues and the current director, Dylan Shields, clone Paul Skeens. and just throw him. We don't need any relievers, no closers. Hey, you can fire them all. If you clone him, you're gonna be fine. And I don't know, like the Pirates, they should probably offer me a contract because I can go out there and probably hit a little bit better than the way they're doing. They're ranking almost like I believe bottom 5 teams in batting average. It's pretty abysmal. And I never say that word. Okay, that means it's bad. Yeah. Right. So I just feel like there's some of those like glaring issues where the Pirates, their pitching rotation, honestly, like in all seriousness, is actually really good. Yeah. They just got to put a ball on a bat and find a hole in the field. Because it sucks when you have a guy like Skeens, who's a generational talent, go out there and deal you 6 scoreless innings. And then when your bullpen comes in and lets up a few runs, because, you know, as Phillies fans, we're used to that too. Yeah. When you don't have any of that run support that you're supposed to build up through those 6 innings, man, you're not going to win any games. Yeah. And for those Orioles, oh my God, get on base. Like, geez Louise, they can hit the ball every now and then, but they're bottom 10 in on-base percentage and OPS, which the only way you're going to score runs is if you have people on base anyway. Yeah. Right. And also, since we were talking about good pitching, on the opposite side of that spectrum, we have the Baltimore Orioles in every single stat. They're last in ERA, last in WHIP, last in, I believe, opponent's batting average. It's goodness gracious. Yeah. And Charlie Morton out there throwing BP to the Reds, allowing 24 runs. That is crazy. He allowed 7, but goodness gracious, that poor guy. You know.
Is there anything you feel like these teams could do to improve their statistics?
Yeah, they definitely need to improve. I think putting Paskins for the Pirates. The 2 pitchers they should put in is Mitch Keller and Paskins. I feel like those 2 can do it. And also, they need to hit better. They need to hit a lot better. Same thing with the Orioles. I don't know what's going on. Both teams are doing way terrible than the Phillies.
Gotta throw some.
I'm just saying. The Phillies, did you see what they did? They won 2 games against, I forget who they were playing, but they absolutely killed the Marlins in the beginning of the 4th game. I watched that too. That's another thing. Marlins are terrible, but I think that, same thing with the Orioles, I think that they should get on base. Just get on base. Like they have these all-star players. You got Gunnar Henderson, you got Ali Watchman, you got their outfielders as well hitting the ball. You need to hit the ball and get on the base.
Got to give him some of those torpedo bats.
Get on the base.
Call it a day.
Take a note from the Yankees, I guess.
I think we all are at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, at the end of the day, they're playing all right baseball.
Yeah, as we now step out of the bounds and onto the soccer pitch, where the news spreads when a Bulgarian flight team held a minute of silence for the passing of a player, only to later on find out that during the game, Petko Ganshev was in fact alive. PCF Arja and opponent Levski Sofia bowed their heads at midfield to honor their passing. Before the game ended, the PFC Arda posted on their Facebook stating, quote, "The management of PFC Arda would like to express a huge apologies to the former Arda player Petko Ganashkiv and his relatives after the club received the wrong information about the death," end quote. Zach, how would you react if you were watching a former player on your team and found out you were dead?
Dude, I don't even know how to answer this question. How do I find out if I'm watching a game and how do I learn that I'm dead? I don't know, man.